today we are very honored to have Mr. Don Davis from Internet Retailer Magazine to be our moderator today. So Don is the editor-in-chief of Internet Retailer Magazine and internetretailer.com.
We're going to hear today from a panel of people for whom the internet has changed their business and their lives, and they're going to talk about that and how Alibaba played a role in that. I know that many of you are not experts in e-commerce. That's, as you heard, this is all of what Internet Retailer is about is e-commerce. But for those of you for whom that's not the case, these folks are real practitioners. People who sell on the internet and people who manufacture goods for people who sell on the internet. So let me introduce our panelists briefly. On my far left is Tessa Harnett, who is from Verge Jewelry. I'll just give you the shortened version. Tessa was studying to be a teacher, came up with a better idea, started a business selling jewelry on the internet. And it's worked out very well for her and has a very positive effect on her lifestyle, as I suspect she will tell you later on. Tessa went on to launch 8 new online businesses, so they now have 9 e-retail sites. She's also published a book called Retail Rebellion, Creating Your Own Online Retail Empire. So that's Tessa. On her right is Nathan Harnett, who was an air traffic controller in Australia and who decided that being Tessa's assistant was a better idea. And he works with Tessa on their retail empire and co-authored Retail Rebellion. Next to Nathan is Anna Shi, who has been both an online retailer and a supplier to online retailers. She started her own fashion business, Ever Pretty, with a store on eBay. The company offers a wide range of evening, cocktail, party, prom, homecoming, and bridesmaid dresses. After finding that she couldn't find reliable suppliers, she opened her own factory here in China and became a supplier herself to many online retailers. So she acts as a supplier through Alibaba.com. Retailers go to her and order dresses, and she also still does sell online. So she knows both sides of that supply chain. And to my immediate left is Michael Ken, who's the international sales manager for Blowpack Company Limited in Shanghai. Blowpack is a leading manufacturer of plastic tube and bottle packaging for cosmetics, food, toothpaste, pharmaceuticals, personal care, and household chemicals. Been in the industry almost 20 years. Blowpack produces for many names that you would know, like Avon, Revlon, CVS, St. Ives. This says Blowpack employs 300 people. I think it's more like 400 now. It's a growing company, and Alibaba saved his business, so I'm sure Michael will tell you a little about that. Before we start, I'm going to ask each of them to just talk a little bit about their business, but this isn't that big a group, so there's really no reason to make this very formal. As they talk, I'm going to ask them some questions, but feel free to raise your hand and jump in with questions, and I think that'll make it all more fun for all of us. So, starting with you, Tessa, tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so we've got Verge Jewelry, which is an online modern metals jewelry store, so it deals with your titanium, your tungsten, ceramic and steel. That came out of Nathan and I both wanting a better lifestyle. We didn't want to be stuck in the 9 to 5. So we looked for different avenues that we could go down for business, for products, where we could still travel the world and live in different countries. We actually started on eBay with 4 designs, and we've grown from there. And more recently, like Don said, we started 8 new online retail stores, but I might pass that one over to Nathan to go into.
Yeah, well, effectively we started Verge back in 2006. As Tess mentioned, we started on eBay. Recently, though, I guess the more we've learned, the more education and experience that we've had has allowed us to start a lot more stores, but we started them a lot differently than how we initially started Verge. We've we can now essentially look at various niches and look at the competition, and based on search traffic and competition, that's how we then start a new niche business. We found, I guess, creating our own online retail stores has allowed us to create our own branding, which we couldn't do on other platforms like eBay. And that's really allowed us now to be able to start multiple businesses. We now currently live in Thailand, but our business has nothing to do with Thailand. We manufacture in China, we ship to Australia, we ship from Australia, within Australia, and we live in Thailand because we like the beaches.
And if that's not an advertisement for e-commerce, I don't know what. Go ahead, Anna.
Okay. I think 8 years ago, I'm in Vancouver, and I couldn't find a job. I said, okay, I can sell something online. And at that time, my friend said you can sell on eBay. I said, okay. Then I tried to, what product I can sell? Because I'm a girl, I like a beautiful dress, right? I said, okay, I sell dress. So since 7 years, I buy from, like Don introduced, I buy from other supply, and then, but I'm not satisfied with the quality and the other things. So in 2009, I tried to set up my own factory. So the sales going up, and then I said, yeah, I can because I couldn't find a reliable supply, so I can do the reliable supply to other customers. So yeah, that's why I say I'm thank Alibaba very much.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, okay. Our company do the packaging for cosmetics. Our company before just invested by Malaysian people, but their team just messed it up because the company nearly shutting down. 2005, our new team, they bought this company just like take a risk. I was recruited by them. I think maybe if the company runs well, I will get good paid by the company, but if not, I will go to find another job. Then our company decided to promote, like, that year, Alibaba find us to tell us how to run business on internet. Yeah. So at that year, I became the international customer, just do the sales. And with more and more time goes by, I found it's very useful because most customers, they just send email. Then I just give them reply and give them quotation, send them samples. They received it. They satisfied with our quality, prices. Then just like this, the customer, till now, our business goes very well. At that year, 2005, our company just nearly shutting down, but now our four-floor building was just built up, and I thank Alibaba for saving our life, saving our business, even saving my career in packaging. Yeah, it's very good.
All right, thanks, Mike. Okay, so I'm going to ask the panelists some questions, and again, I invite you to ask yours. But just by way of introduction, since most of you are based in Asia Pacific, from what I gather, you probably think of Alibaba in terms of Taobao, but for those of us in North America who are in e-commerce, we think of Alibaba for Alibaba.com, which is this kind of magical portal where online retailers can go to and order stuff from China, from factories in China. I mean, we all know China's become the factory for the world, and we can imagine that a big company like Walmart or Nike can come here and negotiate deals. But if you're a tiny online retailer, maybe with an idea to sell prom dresses or jewelry from your kitchen table, can you really source from a factory in China? It turns out that you can. and we'll hear a little bit about some people's experiences, but it's quite a leap. I mean, it's 10,000 miles away, and they speak a different language, and there's 13-hour difference in time. I mean, how does this work for you? Let's start from the buyer side, Tessa and Nathan. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to? I mean, how do you actually deal with Chinese suppliers? I don't think you speak Mandarin, do you?
No, not at all.
And how do you find people that you trust, and how does payment work? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I can tell you about certainly our initial experiences when we just had absolutely no idea what we were doing. How do you contact somebody in China? How do you send them money when pretty much everybody says, oh, you'll never see your money again? And I guess maybe we were fortunate that we got some reasonable suppliers straight away. We did some contacting directly, and eventually we found Alibaba, and that made things a whole lot easier. The real key for us with Alibaba is it allowed us to contact not just one supplier, but a whole range. So we can immediately just, the platform allows you to do a search for a product. Let's just say we're looking for titanium rings. We can do a search for titanium rings and find out all these suppliers. And then basically you can just tick the box next to all the suppliers, and all these suppliers straight away get your message. And then you can judge straight away, who responds quickly, what kind of language barrier do you have. Some speak very good English, some don't. It's not necessarily a reflection on the product, but it's a good start to developing your relationship with the supplier. And then eventually we just sort of started learning how to do telegraphic transfers, and at some point you just got to take the leap and press the button and hope it all goes well. But as soon as you have one, you just have that very first one where you send the money, you talk to them, the product comes in, and it turns up,
It's
and
like
all
Christmas.
of a sudden, it's like Christmas. But that's kind of it. It's like, well, why was this so hard? Why was this so difficult? And then from that point, it's like, what other business can we start? It's just basically limitless options. And that's how we found Alibaba to be effective, because the times where we did go directly to manufacturers, that's when we had some serious problems. We never lost money as such, but we did get a lot of product that was very faulty, and then you never hear from them again, that kind of thing. Whereas people on Alibaba the manufacturers just seem to have this, if I stuff up, I might get kicked off Alibaba or something like that. I'm not really sure how it works in the background. All I know is that from our perspective, it's worked so much better to go through Alibaba.com to find those suppliers.
Suppliers are generally really chatty as well, so if you can build that really good relationship with them, then you find that they're a lot more helpful when you do hit road bumps.
What happens when you order through a supplier you met through Alibaba and you don't like the product? What happens then?
A range of different things. Anything can happen.
Yeah, we've had different ones. Some have actually offered to pay to have the product shipped back to them. They've either fixed the problem or manufactured new ones and paid to send them back to us. Others have offered a discount off the next order that we decide to make, and others we've never heard from again. But in general, most suppliers have been really, really helpful.
All right, Anna, let's talk a little bit about your perspective as a supplier on Alibaba. So tell me a little about who you sell to and how it works from the supplier side. If somebody says to you, okay, I want 500 prom dresses, do they pay for samples, or what's the minimum order you require? Talk a little bit about that.
Because we sell like evening dresses, cocktail dresses, so our minimum quantity is very low. So 10 pieces, 20 pieces is okay. So actually we made these dresses before we sell it. So actually we get the order, we can ship immediately. So the customer don't need to wait. And the the customer need to pay their samples. Like if you buy 1 or 2 dresses, it's okay. So you pay the retail price. And then after you place the big order, I will refund the part.
Okay. And where do your buyers come from? In particular countries all over the world?
Yeah, almost worldwide. Yeah, most buyer from USA, United Kingdom, Europe, and many of them come from Russia. Yeah,
Okay.
Russia girl like our dress very much.
Okay, great. So Michael, talk about your experience. I mean, we mentioned some big names like Avon, CVS, but I assume that not all your customers are big companies.
Oh, not at all. Just some are big brands. Most are just average brands. Our major customer from US and Europe, Australia, Asia, some countries. Even we have customers from Finland. Yeah, they find us through Alibaba. It's quite magic because it's very far. Yeah, it's very interesting story to share. Yeah, some customers, they find us, it's very direct. They just, because I believe they also buy the same products from us suppliers. So their inquiry email is very professional. So when I answer their email, I also show what we can do, our capacity, our competitive prices. So yeah, as for the samples, as Anna said, at first we should charge the customer sample cost, but when they place the order, we can refund the cost to their mass production. So yeah, it's my experience.
Okay, right. So how much less expensive is your packaging, say, compared to what somebody in the United States would charge?
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
How much less expensive are you?
Our price may be just 30 to 40% lower than United States. Yeah, but also some United States companies, they do not buy from United States, they buy from China. So they also have the big margin for buying from us. Like the trader, the trading company, they buy from our company and sell to the United States company. Our price is quite competitive.
So how do you establish trust with your customers?
Yeah, sometimes just via email or just the telephone is some customer maybe not trust you. So sometimes they arrange a trip to our company to look around our facility, our machine, our capacity. This year, Alibaba have a new promotion for the audit. Yeah, we just finished our audit this year. They have the, we were audited by BV company. They do the capacity audit and the product audit they put online. So the customer, even the customer is far from Shanghai, they can download the report so they know what you can do. So it make the customer feel less afraid. Maybe so they can trust you just viewing these reports. Yeah, that's quite good.
What does the auditor look at?
It's including our facility, our capacity, our lines, our machines, our workers, our products. Each product, we can make the tube, the bottle, the cap, the jar. They do all the audit for each product. So they put the picture, the specification on the report so customer can know it. Yeah, can read it. Yeah. Even some customer, we do business with them more than 7 years, but they never waste us. It's just the trust because after so many years business, we never. Sometimes we make mistake on the product, but we fix it or we give them discount on the next order. Yeah, they trust us very well. Yeah, just it's very good to let us to show our capacity to customers by Alibaba.
So Tess and Nathan, what do you look for in a supplier that makes you trust them?
Well, we go to Alibaba, we look for gold suppliers or suppliers that have feedback already. I look at the photos that the suppliers have put up there. I check if they're clear and consistent across their range. how quickly they communicate and how well they communicate. Quick responses to me shows that someone's always there to be trusted, to talk to address any of your concerns. The form of payment. So if a supplier is obviously pushing direct into company bank account, that's a supplier that we would never use. We would walk away and find a new one. We're fortunate enough that with Alibaba, if we can reach out to so many suppliers that as buyers we can be a little bit more picky in who we're trying to look for. There's some of my things that I look for. Do you think?
I think communication is definitely the big one. If they can communicate well with you, there are some other flags as well. I mean, these guys here just mentioned as far as sample costs. Yeah. Sometimes you'll ask for a sample and they'll say, no, we don't do samples. That's an immediate forget about it for us. Other times I'll say, yeah, sure, there's just a $150 sample fee. I'm like, well, why would you charge $150? You know, it's a sample so we can test your quality. We're not necessarily going to just get it and then buy and get our $150 back. I mean, that's the point of the sample. If somebody says retail price, we're like, yeah, great. That's fine. Sometimes we've had suppliers where we're trying to get a sample and say, look, we just can't do it. And we say, well, we'll pay an extra 30%. And they're like, you're willing to pay an extra 30% just for a sample? And we're like, well, yeah. And they're like, oh, great, no problems. But I think communication, I mean, these guys, you're talking to them over email, you get a sense of who you're dealing with very quickly. And as soon as you get the sample going, that pretty much can seal the deal.
It sounds like what you're describing, that this service of Alibaba is kind of like a matchmaking service. It's helping you to find each other. I'm wondering if you could just spell out what other services you're getting, other than just a place to meet others. Because let's face it, once you form that business relationship, you know, maybe you don't need this platform anymore. Is there ways in which this platform is useful in other services? That's my question. And just specifically, for example, with the money, do you use an Alibaba system to pay or receive money, and what protection does that give you, and how much do you pay for that service?
Okay, several questions, but Nate, go ahead.
Payment-wise, well, to use Alibaba for starters, there's no cost to us as a buyer, whether we use their payment systems. For us personally, we don't, I mean, we obviously, the gold suppliers is a big thing, that's where the suppliers have actually organised with Alibaba to go through their factories, and that's one of the huge benefits to us of using Alibaba, is that we know that they've personally gone and verified these manufacturers for us. There is a third-party payment system that I use with new suppliers, which is escrow, and that doesn't cost us anything either. That provides us the protection in that it holds the payment until we actually receive the goods from the supplier. So I can receive my items, I can inspect them, check their quality, confirm that they've been delivered and that it's what I ordered, and that's when the third party will release the payment. That's from my perspective.
Yeah, I can certainly understand the question. I mean, when we develop a good relationship with a supplier, then we don't, you know, we're dealing directly with the supplier. I would say though, however, over the years, we still use Alibaba fairly regularly. Part of, I guess, our strategy is to have several suppliers, basically. We've had times where a supplier's been really good for a while, then I don't know whether there's a change of management or something like that, but things have gone bad, and we always like to have a couple on hand, and that's why we often also, with different suppliers, that they'll change their policies over time as well. So we've often found that we fairly regularly go to Alibaba and look for other suppliers for our products. And just ask them, you know, are you willing to drop your MOQs, your minimum order quantities? But again, once we do have that relationship, yeah, we'll generally go straight to the supplier.
Different designs as well. Like if you want to create a new line for any particular reason, some suppliers are really niche in their particular design, so it's good to branch out to different suppliers just to introduce new, fresh product.
So let's from supplier sample. Diana, go ahead.
Yeah, because Alibaba charge our money is 1 year. It's not based on the orders. It's not like a commission. So I pay 1 year. I can keep looking for, you know, new customers, new buyers. So like then you have more and more customer. Your business will grow.
So how much do you pay in a year?
I think $3,000.
$3,000 US dollars?
Yeah, US
Okay.
dollars. Yeah.
And then you get all the rest of the services you can.
Yeah. Just one payment. So then I can keep getting new buyers, new customers. Yeah.
Michael, anything you'd like to add to that? About what makes it worth to you to work with Alibaba?
Yeah, as Anna said, we also pay. Our contract is 1 year. 1 year. Every year we sign new contract with Alibaba, and each year they have different services. This year they have new service, as I told you just now. They do the audit. Our company is the first audit company in our industry. It's quite new, but we want to try the new one because it's very helpful for the customer to know more about you. Just like before, the customer they can find, they just search the keyword, they can find many suppliers. But with the audit on the website, they can find out you are outstanding with the other companies. Yeah, I like Alibaba new service. And for your question for the payment, we do not ask customer pay for Ali. They all pay for our company account. Normally we charge the customer pay the deposit first. When they receive the order, they're satisfied with the quality, and then they pay the balance. Yeah.
Okay. How much did you pay for the audit?
Audit around 100,000 RMB, I think.
1,000 RMB?
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
Oh, sorry, not 1,000. 100,000, including the whole year contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whole year contract service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was so 100,000 RMB for the year.
Yeah.
Plus the audit.
Yeah, plus
Okay.
audit.
All right. Which raises the question that last year there was a scandal involving some gold suppliers. How did you react as a buyer when Alibaba was very upfront about explaining what was wrong and taking action, but how did you feel about that?
I guess one of the problems I think that we've seen with other buyers like ourselves is they'll use Alibaba, then they'll find a supplier using Alibaba, they'll send their life savings over via Western Union, they lose their life savings, and then they blame Alibaba for it. I think you need to understand, I guess people need to understand what Alibaba is and what it isn't. It's a filter, it's a way for us to filter. We don't see it as the only filter by any means. I mean, you've still got to conduct your due diligence once you actually meet the supplier. So when something like that happens, I guess it's disappointing. But at the end of the day, we have a whole lot of other things that we do ourselves to vet our suppliers as well. So again, I'm sure Alibaba don't like it, and we don't like it either. But it's not going to affect our business that much.
Yeah. We've never had a problem with any of our suppliers using just basic steps of doing the back and forth emailing and not paying into direct bank accounts. I think most of the buyers that have problems is because they're trying to go too quickly, or they skip a lot of the steps and just do things that don't make normal business sense.
Yeah, as suppliers, you must get asked this question: how do you reassure customers that you're not violating somebody else's copyright?
We do what customer want. They provide the design, they provide the artwork, we make it. We just make what they want, what they like, what they need.
Do you ask them for any proof that they're not violating?
Yeah, sure. We will ask them to prove their company certificate and other related file to prove they are the correct one, not the fake, not just copy other customers' design. It's very important for the business.
Everybody in this room is well aware of how much China's economy is growing. At lunch, we were talking about what impact this has had on wages in Chinese factories. Perhaps Michael and Anna, you could talk a little bit about what's happening in terms of the wages you pay and how that's affecting your ability to be competitive.
Me? Yeah.
No, either one.
Yeah, for us, because the wages every year high, high, high. So we want to add more additional value. So we add more some accessories. So we can say we sell one dress, and then we add one more necklace. But then we can get a little high price. So, but because I can get a very lower price for the necklace. So the total we can. So we try to get a little more margin to cover the increase wages. Also, we have a USA design team. So this let us more competitive.
So Tess and Nathan, as a buyer, do you have the experience sometimes where a factory or a supplier will do a really good job for a few orders and then suddenly not so good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few. Like one of our first orders, one of the things we learnt was to get the samples, even if you were going to go with the same supplier, but try a different line of product, because we did do our due diligence and we went with a supplier, we got the samples, they were great, we did the first order, it was all fantastic, and then we did the second order and we ended up having to throw maybe a quarter of it out because of quality control.
In that example, what it was, the supplier, for example, could do just the plain wedding rings really well, but as soon as we wanted some gold plating or some gold detailing, they just couldn't do it. And that was just a learning point for us. We ended up with a supplier. We kept them because they had great quality and great prices and great quantities for the plain stuff, but when we wanted for the gold plating, we had another factory, another supplier just for that. So that was just a learning experience that some suppliers, manufacturers can do some things well and not other things. So.
And that goes back to before about saying, you know, once you've found your supplier on Alibaba, is there really a need for them? And as you start growing your business, you find, yes, like it's a constant thing of going back and forth to find different suppliers or new suppliers through Alibaba.
So this is a question for Michael. You must get buyers contacting you and asking you to do something that you don't normally do. I mean, how do you evaluate an order like that? How much investment are you willing to make to accommodate an order? And is this something that happens often?
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes we need to value the customer if they are the really big potential customer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sometimes like some customers, they need a special bottle because the special bottle we do not have the existing mold to make it. So sometimes we ask the customer to, like the mold maybe cost $10,000, we can ask the customer to pay maybe $7,000. We build half, build the $3,000. But after they really have the quantity as they promised, maybe 1 million per year, then we can ask them to pay the other $3,000 for us. At the beginning, we want to keep the customer, and so we're willing to invest a little bit to help the customer to start the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, you know, for the buyer, we help a buyer grow up. So some buyer at first, you know, only buy like 50 pieces, 100 pieces per month. But now, 300 pieces per month. So we help them doing business better. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's true. As the 100 pure customer at the beginning, they're just a small order, just a few tubes, and maybe just 5,000 pieces with different artworks, maybe 5 different. So each item maybe 1,000. Normally for the other suppliers, they do not do this. Their MOQ is maybe 10,000, but for us, I think the customer is. I think customer can sell the product well. So we were willing to help the customer to grow their business, and eventually the order is quite big. They grow very well. Yeah, help us to also.
Thank you all, Michael, Anna, Nathan, and Tess, for your insights.